So let me ask you this. Do you want to be courted?
Oh, absolutely. Who doesn't want to receive a nice bouquet of flowers or to be taken out to a nice restaurant or, escorted off to another city, just to be made to feel special. And for so long, I wasn't doing anything at all. And then I decided, well, I can date myself. And so I've started dating myself.
I like that.
Yeah, where I would dress up in something nice and sexy and put my heels on, and I'll go to a concert by myself. Oh, I've done that plenty of times. I'll take myself out to dinner. I'll do all kind of things just for myself.
I love that. So, in other words, why wouldn't you want someone to do the things that you're also willing to do for yourself?
Well, I would want.
That's my point. You treat yourself that way.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you expect that of someone else? Because I get some people are like, oh, are you doing those things for yourself? Well, no. So you're already doing those things.
Yeah.
So it does make sense that you would say, hey, yeah, this matters to me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Again, I have not put myself out there in the sense where I would have someone to join me. I don't even have a number where I could say, hey, guy, come and join me. It's
Please
that bad.
Feel free to leave your number in the comments.
Oh, goodness. But, that's how I do my self-care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. There's nothing better than going to the movies by yourself.
Yeah.
I love to go to the movies by myself. It's one of my favorite things. Yeah. So no, completely get it. So, what does the word submissive mean to you?
Submissive does not mean what most people would think submissive means. For me, submission means that, and again, because I'm always thinking in terms of business, if we're talking about household finances, then one half is taking care of, let's just say, the mortgage and the utilities. The other half is taking care of some of the lesser items of importance. And so it just means that, again, where someone one day is acting as the CEO and, I fall in line as the vice president and, by the day, depending on who needs to carry the load, that's what it means.
Right.
Yeah.
So, submission, it's interesting. I almost don't know, but it almost sounds like you're saying acquiescence, that in some ways it's okay to acquiesce to one's partner if you do something better. And yeah, everybody's watched one of these. I just hate the word submission. To submit maybe I'm too feisty.
Well, again, at the end of the day, being able to come home and let your burden down, knowing that there is someone to be able to catch you and lift you up, and vice versa. And, I really emphasize the vice versa in that. That is, what would be quote unquote submission.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's an interesting take on it. That's an interesting take. I guess I look at it as subjugation.
Okay.
And maybe that's a little bit different. It's because I'll hear clients say, well, he wants me to submit. And I'm like, well, what does he want you to submit? like triggered as all hell. Like, well, what does he want you to submit to? And, sometimes it's reasonable things, honestly, and sometimes it's not so reasonable. And sometimes, it's an interesting word that comes up, and it's only in the Black community. I know it exists in white Baptist, Christian, fundamentalists. Those people aren't coming to see me. And so it's really interesting to kind of hear people use this word submission. If I could just wipe it right out of the dictionary, I would. It's like, but I like your take on it, which is, okay, if I'm good at this, or we feel like you've got more expertise here or more knowledge here, then I'm willing to submit and you can run with it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there are so many people who come to me on a day-to-day basis who are looking for answers, and I am where it stops. But who's looking after me? I would just love to have that opportunity to, once I take off that hat, that it's like, hey, baby, you take on this because this is where your expertise is. You want to take care of the bills or take care of, whatever it is, okay, because I know that once I leave the house, that there are people who are depending on me, and that is a heavy burden in and of itself.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked if it felt lonely, and I think what you're saying is it sometimes feels like a burden.
It does feel like a burden at times. However, to be very clear, to be in a position to be able to free myself from a 9-to-5 and have the opportunity to control my destiny is, it really is a blessing. But in that, you do want to be able to have someone who has your back, because when times do get tough and you're the only one looking around like, okay, it just feels good that there's somebody there who's in your corner.
Absolutely. Yeah. We know that pain, when one feels pain, that if a loved one is with you, people report less physical pain. That there's something about having someone with us. We are meant, we're just kind of hardwired in our DNA to connect with other people. And so having someone who understands us, who we can talk to about things, it means a lot. And so that's why I asked about, is there an isolation? Is there a loneliness? Is there something that's there? Because earlier, you talked about a yearning. So it's not always sexy to hear that, but I do think it's important. I think, and I know I'm asking you to be vulnerable here, but I think so many people, so many of our viewers feel alone. They feel like they're the only one who feels this way. That, I hear, I'm so tired of just doing this by myself. I'm so, where's my person? Because, and the sole reason for them getting together with someone is not to say, I want you to, I want to put my burden on you.
Right.
It's more like, I know I'm not alone. And again, we know that when someone's going through something very difficult, when they've got a strong connection, it just feels not as painful.
Right.
Yeah. So, I know I'm pressing. It's like something's, but the only reason why I'm doing it is to use what you're going through to help someone else out there. Because it sounds very flippant, but oftentimes people feel that their pain is so unique. But, most of us know pain. Most of us know loneliness. Most of us have been in a situation where it's like, I feel like I'm shouldering this all by myself. And yet we're all so embarrassed to admit it or to talk about it. And I don't know what that is, other than, there's a favorite movie of mine called The Age of Innocence. I love it. It's a Martin Scorsese film. And there's a character, the Countess Olenska, who talks about, where I come from, that women do have pain. They do and in his world, we were saying they don't ever talk about it. It's something it's not talked about. I don't think there's enough that's talked about Black women and some of the isolation and the shouldering that we feel. It doesn't mean that we're running around like sad. It means that this is a part of our lives that we would like to have more developed. And especially because other parts are flourishing, business. You feel, like you're a part of a community, but you're also leaving this legacy and feeling like you want also that personal relationship. And so I want you to feel empowered. It is okay, because I know a lot of women feel that way. You'll be surprised. There's so many women you're helping just by even talking about this.
That is very good. Good to know. I know that, being a Black woman, being a business owner, there's so many intersectionalities within, our collective community. But when it is just you and you're having to do everything and be everything, and so many women are, not just Black women business owners, but those who are working 9 to 5s, and they're single mothers. I'm a single mother as well, so I have children I have to take care of as well. There are just so many dynamics there,
so many roles,
and for the most part, we're just taught to suck it up. We're supposed to be strong. We're supposed to be the strong Black women. And, we are. We're doing a lot to make sure that things stay afloat. However, in having a partner also means having someone to care for you physically, emotionally. And without that, you do have a void. You do have, that vulnerability that really is tender at the touch.
It is. It is. And to say that it's important for people, we do have need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're people too.
Yeah. We're people too. Yeah. Yeah. I do think for African American women, oftentimes, I think that you see it more with Asian women or Caucasian women, that there's that understanding that's there within their community about being, like you said, protection and having that. And in our community, through history, through subjugation, through slavery, through racism, prejudice, all of that there feels like people have forgotten that there's a need there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, she'll be okay. You'll be okay. Suck it up.
Yeah. You got it. You got it, girl.
Yeah. Yes. I get that a lot.
Yeah.
You
it's
got
like,
it.
I do have it, but I'm tired.
Right.
It's like, I know I got it. I can do it, but it's also, it just sometimes feels hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Believe it or not, my husband has, I think, maybe 3 times, maybe even 4 times in our marriage, he's worked other places and not in Atlanta. And, I've had the children by myself, and it's been really hard. So, and I'm not talking for like, oh, he's a consultant. I'm talking, he was an interim CEO in Hong Kong, and I'm living here, and he came home every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Another time where he lived in Tampa, and when he lived in Tampa, he actually did come home every Friday night and every Thursday night and stay till Sunday. But there was another time where he lived in New York, and he would come home. He'd get home at 10 o'clock on Friday and leave midday on Sunday. And so it was just, and these were not stints that were a couple of months. They were years long. And so there it is. I may not know it in the sense that, okay, I don't have that person, but I definitely know, like, okay, my guy's all the way in Asia, and I'm not going to see him for 6 weeks, and we've got 3 kids.
Yeah.
And it's a lot, and I'm building a business.
Right.
Yeah, it feels like a lot. So, and on those day-to-days, there's no one.
Right.
Yeah, you just do it.
Yeah, because you have to.
Yeah, and you don't want to complain.
Right.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to hear it.